All right. Let's go back, sort of get into the discussion portion of this, because I want to talk about the arc as a whole, kind of go through the episodes here. So, here we start off with that, you know, a panic shot, right? Sure, it's funny. It's kind of one of those things, kind of like it's easy to run into it and have the first thought run through your mind be like, oh, it's going to be one of these type of shows. But what I like is from the very beginning, it's it's kind of showing a sort of this idea of perspective, basically. Because at this point, we're seeing it through Araragi's perspective, right? That the minute the skirt went up, he sort of he blinked and noticed. And for that second when it was up, there was a timer in the corner and everything. We were seeing what he was seeing. Kind of trying to drill it into your mind that it was from his perspective. I found it very interesting. Also, I noticed this too, that her and her are different people, but now I know this is Sindra Lahara. And here's when we're running through the. That's a scary fate. Running through this sort of like, I guess, flashback. I guess is what it was. Recycled to like this high action sequence. So, yeah. So I kind of see like it looks like he has fangs there. So I'm guessing this is probably from where this was during when he was a vampire. Here we have. So we have him running up these stairs. Yeah, he notices this. She falls. Which we ultimately learn she was up because of a banana peel. She slipped and fell. Uh, and again, we're still seeing it from her perspective, right? From his perspective, actually. He looks up, he just sees this girl falling towards him. So naturally, you kind of want to. You're gonna want to help. I mean, unless you're that much of an asshole, you're just letting her fall to her death. But he catches her and then he notices that her body's light. It's interesting, right? He kind of questions like, should he have helped or should he have not? And I find it interesting, kind of because he was able to help and he did. So why wouldn't you normally? Or why would you think that was a bad thing to do? Unless the narration he was giving was real time and not after the intro. I think I've given my thoughts on the intro, kind of like um, that's kind of what I think it means. I mean, stapler is appropriate, right? But there's also the metaphorical aspect of a stapler. It binds things together. Okay. Okay, here, and then we start off the rest of the episode after the intro with Araragi and Hanekawa, class rep, discussing the cultural festival and what they're going to do. And this I found very interesting. I don't see them done very often, but the first person shot. Again, perspective they're showing. Like this is what he sees. He's there. He's fiddling with his pen while they're talking. And he occasionally. I'm gonna show it here, but he occasionally kind of like covers her eyes while he's talking to her. And I found it very interesting. Like, what does that mean exactly? And we get a bunch of shots of her. Actually, kind of wanna. Very quick shots. But there was a shot of like a cat. I'm not gonna find it here. So she talks about, she had class representatives. Discussing the cultural customs, again, this is what he asked about Sinjugahara. But when he did that, he kind of covered her eyes, as if she didn't want to see kind of what her face was. Which I find kind of interesting, just because, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I might be. I'm not going to finish that thought, but let's just move on. So, he kind of asked her about her name, kind of comments that it's weird. She's kind of giving him these looks of interesting, because she made a comment about him kind of being, that he's actually interested in someone for once, right? So what does that mean exactly? Because he does come across as the sort of loner, sort of antisocial type, but that's different than kind of not being interested in people, right? Then we get our introduction to Senjogahara here. Box cutter to the mouth. I mean, she made her point clear. And then the stapler comes out. The intro actually makes even more sense than before. Huh. He tells him that she's weightless, but she's not exactly weightless. She just weighs very little, about 5 kilograms, which is just over 10 pounds if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me on that. I'm not good at my conversion. But that's still very light for a human being. I mean, I think my laptop is probably about that weight. Maybe heavier, maybe? No, it's probably that. It's probably lighter. No, that's not 10 pounds. It's almost that. No. She threatens him and wants him to keep quiet about it. Sorry about that. And she stables his mouth to kind of like reassure that she's serious, basically. It's like she took the box cutter out, but she's like, just to make sure, she staples his mouth. And she's surprised that he doesn't scream out in pain. And he pulls the stapler out there. And how the cop comes out of the classroom is like, weren't you gonna go see Oshino? He's like, and they talk about her eating bananas. And then he runs up to catch up with Senjogahara. Kind of let her know the story. And she's like, alright, what do you want to fight? Let's fight. He shows her the wound that isn't there. And she immediately just drops everything because she's like, I literally just stapled your mouth. And there's no wound there. And we got them on the way to Oshino's place. Kind of go, yeah, I mean, to an extent, sure, but not quite accurate. So he kind of gave the more accurate deduction. I think we all know what she meant, but come on. She keeps all of her school supplies on her. I have to talk about the backgrounds a lot, but I also like how they do the backgrounds in a very sort of simplistic yet stylized sort of manner. Sort of where so the characters pop, And I guess they kind of want that because I've already noticed the show is very dialogue heavy. So they kind of want the characters to sort of be at the forefront. You want to focus on them, right? Especially if they're talking, you kind of want to listen to what they're saying. It's a good way to just kind of put that in there. Because this weird sequence of walking over and a lot of imagery that's kind of, it's interesting to say the least. I don't really know quite what to make of it. And here they're talking, They meet up with Oshino. Again, she loves being rude to this guy. Also, I kind of want to go through this because there was I'm guessing is a reference. Let me just mute this for a second. Yeah, this right here. Is that a Full Metal Alchemist reference? I just find it interesting. Embarrassment fighting friends, and then most of it being spite. So I just found that to be interesting also. You know, she pointed out a little girl in the corner. And then Araka makes a comment that she's one without an existence, without a name, nothing basically. And then Kosha was like, no, I gave her a name. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday, he said. But, it's Shinobu. I've seen this character before in like screenshots and stuff. I'm pretty sure she's one of the fan favorites. But, which means she probably gets more interesting. And I made a comment. Because since she's the remains of a vampire, and our boy here, he's a former vampire. So is that the connection there? I'm gonna go with that. She was probably the one that turned him into a vampire. That's my theory. Yeah. He kind of gives a story of the gods and crowns. Also, like how here to kind of keep everyone in frame. That she's there in the corner, kind of just to be there. It's interesting how they set that up. Crab. Find out it's a god actually. And he gives his ambiguous answer to kind of where it is. And, I made a comment. It makes sense, because when you think about gods, they're kind of just there, always, but not always. It's appropriate, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And regain her weight. And she asked, So that's the first episode. It kind of sets up the issue, brings it to light. And here we are. It builds up a sort of intrigue. And then we start off the second episode, kind of where we left off. Well, before the opening, there's a cold opening of Araragi in Shinjogahara's place, kind of waiting for her to finish taking her shower. We kind of get these shots. And she started talking about the cult and how her mom has a debt to them. It seemed very fan servicey at first, but I'm going to talk about it in a little bit, kind of after, kind of when we get into the full scene. Later on, I'm going to go through the intro again. I don't think I have any more thoughts for that. Okay. They're back with Emotional, kind of told her, or he said he's not gonna save her, he's gonna lend her his aid, basically. So, you still have to do it yourself. I'm just gonna help guide you through it. That's kind of what his. So he told her to go home, clean her body, put on some clean clothes. Then there's this the whole thing of him charging her. It seemed almost like he wasn't gonna charge her, which I found interesting. But she kind of insisted, so he's like, all right, I'll charge him. And then charges her 100,000 yen. And apparently he also charged Hanekawa 100,000. Because he mentioned that, in the episode they mentioned that he helped the class rep. Also apologizing for all of the loud noises. People will be people. Anyways. And then he mentions how he charged Aragi about 5 million. He said it was because of the vampire. Which, in my mind, it makes sense, right? I mean, a vampire is usually, mostly, portrayed as a very strong sort of being. So I'm guessing it probably was very difficult. And again, the crown is supposed to be a god, so I don't know. I don't know how that works out. It's kind of humorous. She says, kind of, she'll pay it to do kind of whatever it takes to do so. She finishes taking her shower, she walks out. Walks out naked, basically, kind of. She kind of starts this with the usual trope you see, the guy walking in on the girl. In this case, it's kind of reversed, but not. Where she walks into him, she walks in on him, but she's the one that's naked. And she kind of like, turns herself around. She knows he's flustered. She's teasing him basically. What's very interesting about this though is later on we learn her story, right? Normally, I'm saying normally because I can't speak for everyone, and I personally have not gone through this. But normally, people who have gone through the same sort of problem that she has, not the weight crab, but the assault thing, they don't find it easy to put themselves in vulnerable, sort of risque situations, right? But here she is, she instigated this. So in my mind, I'm kind of thinking, well, why? I don't, like, could she just be that strong? Could she have other motives? I mean, here she says that it was kind of it was a sort of treat. Did she say treat? Or reward for his help. She kind of says that, but I have a feeling it means more. Maybe he was kind of testing him and kind of testing his character. Because I know a lot of guys probably would try to take advantage of that situation, where he kind of tries to avoid it. And she's teasing him again. She mentions not to tell Hanekawa that he's a virgin, which is an odd statement to make in of itself, but she assumed that he liked her. But he kind of mentions that no. She's just a nice person in general. And it makes sense. I mean, it's not. It kind of makes sense why Senju Haru would assume something like that, but it's also kind of just an assumption in and of itself, with no real sort of tangible evidence towards it. A guy and girl can be friends, right? But it's interesting she brought it up. Especially because of all these sort of love metaphors or vibe I got from the intro. And then her seemingly testing his motives here. Her being in nothing but her underwear and being completely naked before. It kind of tells how, this is when he told her how Ojino helped both him and Hanekawa. So he kind of has a reason to trust him. But she kind of goes often says that, you know, if she were to trust people that easy, she would have been tricked a lot of times. Which again, it plays back into this whole scene where like she's not very trusting, but here you are with some guy you basically just met, flaunting around your stuff. I found it kind of interesting. You go into talk about optimism, how it isn't exactly wrong to be optimistic. But she kind of made a comment how she's basically lying to herself to be optimistic. Teasing him again about his intelligence. So, she makes the comment of, is it here? Going into the test. But okay, well, before all of that, she tossed away her shirt again. He was like, you just want to show off that body of yours, and she was like, no, I'm not that self-important. She kind of makes a comment of it being heavy, which isn't a stretch for it to be true, and I don't disbelieve her. I do believe her. It's just I don't think that's all there is. Because again, I'm playing into this whole thing of he asked earlier kind of what is she up to. I do think she was testing him. And while the clothes being heavy could be true, but it could also just be a nice excuse while being true. But that's kind of my sort of thing on it. She mentioned she's going to eat crab after all this is over. She wants to take him with her. Sorry. Then they meet up with Oshino. You mentioned how he's not a priest, but he works. He studied to be one, but he doesn't work at a shrine. And this comment with the perverted cat. Because earlier in the first episode, there were flashes of a cat. I'm guessing this is probably that same cat. And they mentioned how it's a god, so they're not going to exterminate it. They said they're going to pray to it. It makes sense. It mentions how the gods are kind of they kind of just don't really care about people. They kind of just see them as they're just there. Just the little ants down below. He gives the ambiguous statement again of the god being by her side, still being everywhere. And then we start the sort of the ritual. He tells them to calm down. And he asks a bunch of questions. They're mixed with sort of straightforward questions with kind of offhand, kind of casual questions. And kinds of get more and more personal as it goes on. Then he asked her about her most painful memory. And she kind of hesitated. Then she mentioned her mother, but her mother being in a cult. And it was like, okay, but what else? There's more to that. Like, that's not the full memory. And she gives the story of her mother doing something very, very disgusting, in my opinion. Yeah. And it kind of delves into her kind of blaming herself for her family falling apart. Which it delves into the kind of issue here is that when she met the crab, it was under the right circumstances, right? For the crab to show up, so it did. And she asked it to kind of take away her weight. Those are her feelings, her thoughts, and her memories. That emotional weight. But then she didn't account for the crab not really caring, so to speak. So we stripped away her weight, he stripped away her emotional weight, he stripped away her physical weight along with it. And it's kind of this whole thing of, the kind of more obvious repercussions being being the weightlessness, because I'm sure that will cause inconveniences. But then there's the emotional weight behind it that sort of, you can't forget those things. As bad as those memories are, they're a part of you now, and they make you you. And I think it's kind of, I hate having loud neighbors. I'm probably gonna have to start recording late at night, and even then they're noisy. It mentions how she was ill, and her mother. I'm getting frustrated. All the noise on the outside, and I'm pretty sure it's being picked up by the mic. This mic is terrible. Anyways, her mother kind of seeking sort of guidance, basically, somewhere to go to, because she thought her daughter was not going to survive, and then she did, and it kind of strengthened sort of her trust in the cult, which led to now stop her from feeling. Well, I don't want to go back on my sort of statement, but on the earlier scene in her room, where she was kind of showing off her body but not really caring, I'm wondering if this also has a part to do with it, because she kind of stripped herself from those emotions. At that point, if she wasn't really feeling anything, she probably wouldn't care, would she? That's something I'm gonna have to think about more. And here we have the kind of crab, the sort of like relationship with the crab that kind of bound to her and stripping away. And he makes a comment about those feelings not coming back and nothing really changing because of her feelings coming back. But she's like, she realized that it is a part of her, And here we have her kind of, there's almost like a shift in her attitude, right? Like she got a big part of herself back just now. And she seemed to genuinely be grateful for the help she got with the Araragi, because he reached out and he was actually able to help, via ocean, alright, but still. So that came full circle, I see. And I do want to talk about this here. We have her sisters kind of this right here, because I kind of this might mean more than I should think, or it might mean nothing. But he said that he weighed 55 kilograms, and here we have her getting her weight back and him getting added weight afterwards. Her weight was around 45 kilograms. His was 55. You add those two together, you get 100. So he basically also got her weight, right? It's played off in a comedic manner. He can like, God, the gods kind of just, they don't care, they just did whatever. But you realize that even from an emotional sort of standpoint, he also gained some of her weight by just knowing her story, basically. It weighs on him too, because he realizes that this is the reason why she acts the way she acted the way she acted, And now I know that, and I feel it. And this kind of, is a funny way to represent it, but it makes sense, right? He gained that too. I just thought it very interesting. I really enjoy this. I enjoy the dialogue for one too, because it's very entertaining. It's sort of, the constant teasing. I am aware that he is aware that it's teasing, but it's like, well, what can I do about it? You know, uh, I definitely kind of want to continue on with this. Um, but I'm gonna stop this video for now. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna trying to think of what I'm gonna do with the video. The commentary itself, I'm going to separate. I'm gonna leave this sort of afterthought discussion, sort of analysis thing, whatever you want to call it, here on YouTube. And then I'm probably going to redirect it to another site. I think I have a couple in mind. I'll choose one. So, that link will be in the description if you want to see my commentary, even though it wasn't that great. I mean, for a lot of it, I was quiet, kind of trying to soak in what was happening. I mean, a very dialogue-heavy show that I've noticed this to be. I'm gonna have to pay attention and try to keep commentary, so that's gonna be my task from now on. I'll try to keep up as best I can, but I will stop there. I would like to thank you all for watching, and yeah, see you all next time.